Are you serious? This computer's taking too long to load. I'm already getting tired of... I need to check for malware again. Oh my god. It worked! The time machine worked! That's great. What the heck? Who are you? You look like me! And why are you in my room? I'm you! I'm you from the future! Hey Josh! Okay, so you're a time traveler somehow. If that's the case, why did you come back here to risk your very existence and talk to me? I come a year from now. You see, you tried to make a video. You tried to make a video about being in the fandom without a fursuit, but by then, you already had a fursuit. Beviraku is actually real. He's a thing. I know, I'm very excited, but the reason why I'm back is that the video that you made back then didn't... How do I put it? The video you made back then didn't receive well. You see, since you had a fursuit already, no one really wanted to listen to you talk about your non-fursuit adventures. And being hypocritical and talking about you could be in the fandom and involved without a fursuit. It was kind of hypocritical. So, you see, I'm back to warn you to do the video now. So it's time to make a video now before ACFI happens in 2021. But it's 2021. You're currently in 2021. You're a time traveler, you don't even know where you're going. Wait, I am in 2021? Okay. Before ACFI happens later this year. By the way, that convention was great. It's been like a good few months. I haven't had a video idea in a while now. So yeah, grab that camera, make that video now, before it's too late. Because once you have that fursuit, you can't make the video at all. Otherwise it's gonna be very, very, very bad in terms of reception and in terms of opinion. Now, my job here is done. Farewell, past me. I can't tell you anything else from the future because then I cease to exist. Farewell. Well, see you later, future me, I guess? I don't know how you logically got here and how you're logically gonna get back without writing yourself up, but farewell. Wait, who was I talking to again? Why do I have a sudden urge to make a video now? Well, time to get the camera. Salutations everyone, my name is Beviraku and today we're doing a different video entirely. So you see, usually my videos are scripted and usually I read off that script because I can't formulate my words correctly. But first of all, I feel lazy, I don't want to type up a script for this. And second of all, I actually know the stuff that I'm talking... Well, I do know the stuff that I'm talking about in my other videos, but I'm actually speaking based on experience, therefore I don't need a script to formulate my words, per se. In addition to that, I'm also editing on a different editing software. So, you see, I am now in university. So that means I get university benefits. And now, instead of using iMovie, I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro and Adobe After Effects. If you saw the pre-video thing before my introduction, you know, the little skit, I use After Effects / Premiere to edit some of the music in and edit some of the little effects in. I didn't want to spend hours on end, so I didn't want to make it perfect where I use a leaf blower to blow my room and have a little time traveling effect and make a whole... Yeah, I didn't want to make everything fancy. Alrighty, so the purpose of this video is to discuss, or actually say my experience on how I got involved in the fandom before I got a fursuit. Now you see, I don't have a fursuit now, and that's why I made it a point in my pre-introduction little skit that if I had a fursuit and I made that video, it will kind of be a little bit counterproductive because it's showing that I already have a fursuit and I'm talking based on my non-fursuit. It's complicated. So I decided to make that video now. It came randomly in the shower one day. I was like, okay, I should do it. Okay, to start off on being involved in the fandom without the fursuit, I gotta say my origins. So back in 2014, I joined the fandom via Instagram, and from there it just skyrocketed. I saw these art pieces from valuable artists, from notable artists now, and I was very inspired by that because that art was pretty nice. Those anthropomorphic animals, pretty nice. And overall, from there, I ended up skyrocketing and got into roleplay. I did a little art myself, but that didn't work out, and I ended up finding out that here in San Antonio, we had a whole local furry group dedicated to meetups. This was pre-ACFI, so this was a meetup group on meetup.com or something like that. It was a very old group, and they had several Facebook groups too, and I decided to join. Of course, it was 2014, so I didn't join until 2015 when I was actually 13 years old, because, you know, you can't join the internet when you're under 13. So after I joined these local meetup groups, of course I didn't meet up because I was a little youngster and my parents were quite cautious about me meeting strangers online, so instead I chose the route where I talked to people locally. I managed to meet a couple of good furs. Of course I wasn't that involved per se. I just called myself a furry. I made furry videos back in middle school. Well, technically I made furry videos. I didn't really... Oh gosh, I was just reminded. I made gaming videos, and when I made these gaming videos, I was called the Wise Furry. That was a big mistake in terms of channel name. I decided in middle school to make my whole channel based on the Wise Furry. And I made gaming videos, and of course that didn't work out because I'm not a gamer, first of all, and second of all, I was making it on a MacBook Pro, which isn't great for games. It kind of lagged a lot, so I just decided to go, hey, but when I joined high school, I decided to go, hey, this is not for me, so I'm gonna rebrand. So I rebranded as Beviraku, and from there I stayed involved via YouTube still. And I managed to join the actual local Telegram groups from my city, and the convention group, which was actually the first year I joined high school. So the first year I was known as Beviraku, before Beviraku, I actually ended up being involved in terms of convention. So that gets onto my next segment. So first was online. As a youngster, I couldn't meet up with strangers, so I chose to be involved in the fandom online via YouTube videos, identifying myself as a furry, and overall trying to like be outward with it. Unlike other peers of mine, I wasn't actually closeted as a furry. I was pretty adamant and pretty out there that I was a furry. And of course anyone who was cautious, I had to explain to, hey, furry is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. It's just an interest in anthropomorphic animals and express that interest in various ways. So I did that, and from there I decided to venture off farther. So back in 2017, when AC5 first became a thing, that was my first in-person furry thing. Wild, right? So my first in-person furry thing was actually pretty good. I managed to meet some great friends. I managed to see some old friends that I met before, such as... I don't think I should bring their name up in this video. But I managed to meet some old friends that I knew before, and overall it was a great experience, especially the positive vibe that 2017 and ACFI had. Being in the El Tropicano Hotel and having witnessed the dance competition, having witnessed the Fursuit parade, overall inspired me to become even more involved in the fandom, because overall I noticed that the fandom had such creativity among everyone. whether it's designing your own character or having your own fursuit or being an artist. The fandom is really open to all sorts of creativity. You could create art, like I said, make a fursuit, wear a fursuit, make a character. There's a lot of things you could do in the fandom to be creative. And around those high school years, I chose to actually be involved in terms of the convention. Still making YouTube videos, but not that much. And then I also chose to write. Oh gosh, I almost forgot. I wrote a little bit of stuff back in high school, but none of it really became published per se, aside from the little writing story I had on Furry Fandom. I tried writing a novel which reached about 17,000 words. I think at that point it's called a novella. And I look back onto it later on in my high school years and I realized that it was cringe, so I didn't toss it away, but I archived it, maybe for the future. I'm still a writer today. So, after high school, well actually, towards the late end of high school, after I rebranded myself as Beviraku and such, as soon as I turned 18, that's when I became really involved in the fandom in terms of real life, online, etc. I started skyrocketing in furries I knew, and I started skyrocketing in terms of friends that I knew. So, to start off, I decided to, late in high school, as soon as I turned 18, apply for Alamo City Furry Invasion staff. At this point, I was already driving, so I have my freedoms everywhere. So, later on in December, after I applied, was it December? Yeah, it was December, I guess. Later on in December of 2020, you know, quarantine still. Yeah, I turned 18 in November of 2020, if you don't remember my last video. It was at the height, basically, of COVID still. In November of 2020, I decided to apply to ACFI staff, and I'm already quote-unquote good with social media, so I decided to apply for the social media / marketing position. So at first, in December 2020, I was given the marketing role where I would do in-person stuff for ACFI and do various stuff that, marketing-wise, the people who you see at the booths at conventions, that would have been me. But then the leadership above me found out that I was actually more adept in terms of social media, because they put me in the social media group, and from there I started leading them, and then somehow, some way, I became the social media lead for ACFI. So, basically, to summarize that, I got involved in local conventions, applied for something that I specialized in, such as social media and technology, and then from there, I just acted myself, and overall, I got attention from the upper board, and I was promoted to social media lead. So that's one of the ways I was involved in the fandom. The other way I was involved before COVID, so I think I was 17. Yes, I was 17. I was still a minor, so I didn't really have that many friends. But I went to my first local meetup in March of 2020. This was before COVID, so before that spring break that decided to make the world end here in America, I decided to join the local meetups here in San Antonio in February and March of 2020, and they were great. Park meets, arcade meets, and overall, it was a wonderful experience to feel, and I got to talk to people. Of course, everyone's cautious to talk to minors, because you have to be cautious to talk to minors when you're adult, because there's a lot of things that go on, and some are dangerous. But yes, I decided to make friends, socialize, and overall I got involved physically in the fandom in terms of in-person meets. And overall, it was amazing. I made friends. Then March of 2020 hit, and those meetups don't happen yet. Not anymore yet. So, they're still on a pause right now. But yeah, overall, how I became involved in the fandom started off online, then moved to in-person with ACFI and in-person meetups, and then after this whole situation with ACFI, after I got promoted to lead and everything, after March of 2020, this happened. Wow, I'm very angry. My camera decided to go, hey, I'm not going to record anymore. So, as I was saying, after ACFI's lead, after the whole Furmy thing, I actually found a local college group, the college I'm going to, well actually am attending right now. Furry group, yeah. So basically I found out that my college has a local furry group and I decided to be involved there too, and overall I grew close to all my friends there, and now I'm actually hanging out on a weekly basis, of course being safe because of COVID, and it's great. I really love the contacts I have made from there, and we're actually starting a club next semester, so it's gonna turn out pretty good in terms of being involved. So, in conclusion, to be involved in the furry fandom, all you have to do is want to be involved. You could make art, you could make fursuits, you could do writing, you could even do photography. Anything that is your interest, you could be involved in the fandom with. Get connected, start attending meets, start joining convention teams, and attend a convention. Conventions are a great way to network and overall meet people that you want to meet. If you want to meet introverts, there's introverts at panels and the convention. If you want to meet extroverts, I'm sure there's an extrovert panel. Or they're on the con floor dancing away like there's no tomorrow. So basically, whatever you want to do, you could do in the fandom, other than illegal stuff. Don't do illegal stuff. Yeah. If you're a minor, stay involved in the fandom digitally, attend conventions, and be careful. If you're an adult, get out there. Start staffing for a convention. Start volunteering for conventions. Start volunteering to staff conventions. Anything you could do. You could do anything in the fandom. Just be sure to remember that you don't need a fursuit to be involved in the fandom or to be known. All you have to do is have an interest in anthropomorphic animals and express that interest in various ways, such as watching this video. Alrighty, so that should be it. And before this camera stopped recording, I managed to remember my intro. So, as always, stay unique, be truthful, and have a fur-tabulous day. See you next time.
Wow.